Welcome to Downpour.com's interview series. I'm Malcolm Hilgartner, and today it's my pleasure to present an interview with Oscar and Emmy Award-winning actor Louis Gossett Jr. As a voice actor, he can be heard in the video game Half-Life 2, in the Batman animated series, commercials, TV specials, and audiobooks, including 12 Years a Slave by Solomon Northup. Conducting the interview is Josefa Salinas. Blackstone Audio is publishing the audio version of 12 Years a Slave on June 1st, 2013.
Welcome, Lou. Thanks so much for coming down today for this Downpour interview. It is so good to have you here.
It's a blessing to be anywhere, and I love being here. The weather is good, and you're beautiful, and we got to talk about a relevant subject.
Oh, a relevant subject and an incredible book. 12 Years a Slave. This autobiography happened back in the 1800s and yet still so relevant today. It talks about the kidnapping and the 12-year bondage of Solomon Northup. Mm-hmm. He was a free man of color,
right.
And it originally was published in 1853, and it was so impactful on the national debate at that time about slavery that it kind of the whole time it led up to the Civil War and kind of moved public opinion in favor of abolition.
Absolutely.
So when you saw this project, what was your first instinct with the project, and why did you want to become involved?
Well, I wanted to be involved any possible way I could. And I was very flattered that they asked me to do the audio part, because that's brand new for me, the audiobook. Brand new career. You don't just say the words of a book for the audiobooks now. You have to act it. So it's a story that I know intimately. It's amazing how stories that have done in the 1800s and the early 1900s for certain purposes is more relevant today than it was then. Although it started the abolitionist movement. We have a kind of a pseudo-abolitionist movement today. It's finding the last threshold, if you want to call it that.
Yes.
We've got to go over the last hurdle until we get together. It's the last house on the block. It's very exciting to be alive and be participating in mankind at this particular time.
It's almost like it's come full circle. And they say that history does repeat itself.
Yeah,
so we're
it
kind
does.
of repeating some social movements and some social feelings. Maybe we just didn't get it quite finished then.
Well,
and now it's up to us to carry the torch and take it to the finish line.
Yeah, and every level as you grow, you get tested the same story. Let's see how you're going to do it now that you're on the level. Let's see how you react this time. I'm going to come in base like Richard Pryor's dog. Yeah, I'm going to be chasing you again tomorrow. It's the same story.
Let's talk about your Erascism Foundation. It kind of focuses on a very similar topic of planting the seeds of social tolerance with children and eliminating the stigma of racism.
Yeah.
So talk to me about how you started the foundation and the relevancy when you see stories like this and see and hear what's going on in society, how you can pull that all together with the Erascism Foundation.
Well, if you look at it and you put yourself as a subject, I put myself as a subject. This is my 60th professional year. I can't compare with anyone else, but you can look at your experiences and you react a certain way as a result of climbing a mountain and being totally successful, and then getting pats on the back by your agents and your friends, and then going to the next level and the next level. But the one constant thing is that the difference between the colors of where I come from and the people that I work for and with. And it was more than subtle sometimes, even in friends who are of another color. So it's that old joke, what do you call the President of the United States today? Maybe a little bit of the N-word still there. It's because there's no villain in the story. It's just that's the way it's been for centuries. That's the way it's been for generations. So my foundation is to look at that and stop it maybe in the next generation by having this center called the Shamba Center, where that shadow is not there, and we are sensitive to one another's culture and one another's colors of skin. We start at a young age, the way we used to before you hit the door of the house. That's where the buck stops. And I think it's effective when you get all these kids in one place and play these games and get these lectures and these documentaries about one another's culture so that we're aware of one another, the way I was when I was a child. By the time they get to that voting age, it's just not there.
Right.
Children have to be taught. So we have to promise not to put any...
Listen to the full interview at Downpour.com.